So if so, or still there may be the opportunity for the people who is working just in front at the front end of the okay say industry activities like making something
Right.
or yeah every employee who is working based on their okay so variety of the knowledge or technology technique or
Highly skilled workers,
Highly
but
skilled,
people who have the capacity to take one step back, look at their job and say, okay, with this new technology, we can actually implement it in a way to become more effective or whatever. So people who, the people who, for example, have are very high skilled craftsmen who have the capacity to use the design technique to emulate their craft in a more automated way, they will be able to find, but that's based on their experience as craft people. They know what it requires, but they realize that their fingers are no longer making the money. It's their brain that needs to take over and use the technology to actually get the same result, or maybe get better results than he would ever get with only using his fingers. Those people will be able to survive. So the people who can make the step from where they are now to actually integrating technology with their skills that they're using right now, those are the people who will be able to maintain their jobs.
Yeah.
So you guys have the heritage of Greece, right?
Man.
No work.
Right. Yeah, no work. Like they used to have slaves. That's also kind of automation. Yeah. So they used, what did they do? They introduced like games, and they engaged in philosophy and debate.
Oh, my wife is a whole day
Philosophy.
playing game, whole day.
Oh my God, I would be so depressed after playing games.
She claimed half day headache, half day playing games. Is this happy?
So when I was a university student, that was the moment when we started to have our own computer in my house or room. But my major was information technology. But even during the student of my faculty, still the very few students had our own computer.
Right.
And I bought mine. And soon after, I started the game.
Right. I didn't have one.
Oh, really?
I had to go to the library to use a computer.
And but at that moment, if we tried to play the game, first we have to type in the program code by ourselves.
Right.
So that was a very good exercise for me to type quickly. But anyway, so soon after the game software was started to sell.
Sega.
So. But as you said, every time I completed the role-playing game all through the night, I just felt like just a waste of time.
Right.
So that eventually that was a very, very good experience for me. So soon after I stopped to play the game because playing a game is just a waste of time.
It's really
Reading a book is better than that.
Yeah.
Or communicating with the people.
Right. But how can we? I mean, why do people play games? Because everybody must. Yeah. Okay.
That is the next topic.
Why do people play games? No, actually. So looking at employment. I mean, changes in employment. This looks at the percentage of workers employed in different kinds of industries over the past 165 years.
What is the blue one? Light blue one?
The light blue one is agriculture.
Dark blue one.
So the dark blue one is manufacturing. So we see that manufacturing is increasing, but then it's decreasing. So we see that there is the point of this picture is actually to show that there is massive changes in employment over time. It's natural what's happening. So we see that as a whole, trade, wholesale actually has increased dramatically over time. Education has increased, healthcare has increased, business and repair services, financial services, government services. Those are the sectors that actually employ more and more people these days. But manufacturing, agriculture, mining are obviously now in much less demand. So change is normal. Change is something that happened to us, that happened everywhere in the world, and it's.
This is very interesting. Next 20 years, what's happening?
So where are we going? Where are we heading?
Yeah, very, very interesting. So where is the labor force?
I think if I would have to estimate, then we go to the right here.
What is this? Right?
Healthcare, education, entertainment, hopefully government. Financial services will go this way, go to the left. Even though we have more financial services, but financial services will be highly automated. This is I would estimate that this will be maybe more than 50% will be gone in 20 years' time because it's not necessary.
Have you seen the list of the jobs which will be lost from next 10 to 20 years?
1 second. I will show you the video.
Okay.
Here is that what we saw in the past is that actually automation generates efficiency. Efficiency grows the economy. Economy grows, demand for services, other services increases. That will lead to new jobs being created. So jobs are being replaced where people are being automated away. Then new demand will start to appear. Point is that so far we have been able to maintain a reasonable, good distribution of income. The gap between rich and poor was not that big, so the new services were attainable for most people. But what's happening right now, I think, is a little bit different because the income distribution is getting wider and wider. So if the new generated income from efficiency is held by only a few individuals, they are not going to spend all that money. They're not going to all of a sudden create a whole new demand for fancy restaurants. You can only go to so many fancy restaurants a night, a year, and that's just it. So I think that you also need to take income distribution into this picture. So I think that's where economists are missing the bigger point.
Missing what?
The bigger point is that this doesn't. I mean, what we've seen in the past may not apply because income is not distributed equally. Unless we are able to redistribute income and let everybody win a little bit, we will not be able to generate these external effects from higher efficiency through automation.
I think another point may be in the revolution of automation or Industry 2.0, the change of the society was relatively slow rather than the current change. So that even if the blue collar were driven out, but still there are chances for them to change their way to live. That means after the automation spread, they could find the new job,
right,
which was created at that moment,
right,
because there are considerable time for them to adapt themselves. But at this moment, the change is too drastic that if once somebody, or maybe the white collar, driven out, there's no chance for them to come back to the new.
As Uber drivers, as whatever there is, but it's going to be self-employed, it's going to be unstable, it's going to be risky. That means that people will be careful spending their money because they cannot see what the future brings them, which means that that there will be a high savings rate and less spending, which means that there's less demand for products. And what we're already seeing is that a lot of these automations is actually just not doing things, growing things, but replacing things with cheaper things. That really doesn't create much value. Like what Amazon is doing is brilliant, as it is very efficient, and it kills the competition. But it doesn't create any jobs, doesn't create any value. We do not all of a sudden start to buy more fresh goods because Amazon reinvented the way that we do distribution and that we do logistics. Basically, it just forces everybody to do things with smaller margins, and we see this race to the bottom, this including extra service, doing more while paying less. We see that happening everywhere. It doesn't really bring us any benefit. The shareholders of Amazon, sure. But what are they going to do? And who are they? Are they located in Japan? Are the jobs that being destructed in Japan for the supermarket workers? Are they are the people who benefit? Are they the shareholders of Amazon? Are they Japanese people? Are they going to pay their taxes inside Japan, or are they going to pay their taxes somewhere else? And if they're going to pay it somewhere else, how is the state going to help the people who actually lose their jobs, the cashiers, the people in the logistics centers? So that is a problem. I think that's what economists are overlooking.
The distribution of chances to get the new revenue, new income by the new opportunity spreading all over the world outside of local.
So that is actually that's another step. I mean, the first question is basically, how can these people survive economically? How do they get money? Like we talk about base income. The next question is base income enough to keep people happy? Because base income doesn't satisfy our higher needs. I mean, basically, base income would enable you to be able to sit on the sofa and play video games all day. But that doesn't satisfy us because we want to feel that we're contributing. So on a higher level, how can we make sure that the people who fall out of this system, that they somehow be put back into this system? That's the second question. But I don't think we can even answer the first question.
Yeah.
So the jury is out on this. They say maybe. I'm a little less optimistic. I think that definitely, if we don't change the way that we not serious about the future, we have very little chance to counter this. I mean, we can already see that governments from the US, the governments from Japan and other countries, they're building up huge debts, which will make it very, very difficult for us to counter these effects in the future. We will need money, and we will need to be able to generate money for our citizens. If anything, I think we need stronger governments instead of less important governments. Now, in the United States, we see the opposite happening, and I think Japan is following kind of in its tracks, where we are looking for more deregulation. But the fact of the matter is that we are completely losing track of our citizens. The reason why we see these bigger income gaps is because we have weak governments, we have weak governance, and we cannot protect the best interests of society. We still believe in the models that were written down by Adam Smith more than 100 years ago, where we believe that the invisible hand will ultimately correct everything. I'm not that optimistic. I'm not that optimistic that the invisible hand will correct everything. So we definitely I believe, are in need of some kind of authority that will be able to actually restore everything, and will not only look at things in the economic models that we create. So that's the thing, actually. I believe that's the key word, because economists create models to explain what's happening in reality, but these models are just a description of the reality. The models they start to get a life of their own. So we start to believe the models. We start to believe that because this is the model, this is how it works. But the model is just an abstraction of reality. And the reality is changing, but it's not captured in our models anymore. So I'm really worried that we start to rely on our own models too much. So I think that if we don't take any action, if we don't seriously get control back to the government in order to make it possible to generate taxes, that we will not to redistribute income, to think about what we are going to do with our elderly workers, whether we need to give them a base income or whether we need to do more than that and give them dignity and make sure that they can remain their dignity, on creating exceptions where we are going to actually not let everything be ruled by the laws of economics. Because laws of economics dictate that we put people in places where they can be most productive. Maybe that's not, for society as a whole, that's not desirable. Maybe we need to accept the fact that there are people who can move and adjust themselves at different speeds, and we need to create space for those differences, and actually say, okay, well, it's better for us as a whole that we redistribute income, that we let certain groups adjust slower to these changes than others, and we make it possible for them to adjust at a slower pace, or not to adjust at all.
Money redistribution and how to give them dignity.
Right.
It means how we're going to give them training or education.
Right. Right. Training, education, or let them do what they were doing, even though it might not be 100% economically justified.
Greece did. Right? I was just talking about Greece and Roman people did exactly what they do. And they tried to give them. And then at that time, they made a question, what is happiness? This is Socrates, right? Philosopher.
What was the answer?
Yeah,
I don't know.
What is happiness?
What was the answer? I don't know.
They have happiness is that they answered happiness. I prepared yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Aristotle.
Okay.
Aristotle defined what is happiness.はい、皆さんこんにちは、雲野です。今日はですね、雲野塾の研修のプログラムをご紹介したいと思います。で、こういうふうなホームページありますけれども、ぜひですね、一度中身をご覧になっていただきたいと思います。今日はブーキューブさんのスタジオに来て、この収録をしておりますので、中身はこういうふうになってて、今最近ホットなね、グローバルリーダーの定義など書いてあります。で、特に経団連が作成しました留学すれば英語ができて専門性を持つというだけではですね、グローバルリーダーになれないとここに書いてありますようにですね、仕事ができる、専門性を持つ、英語ができるだけじゃなくてですね、私どもの塾ではリベラルアーツということと、それからもう一つは孫子の兵法、さらにはですね、日本の歴史というものを合わせて教えることによって、皆さんが海外の欧米の方々と、もしくは華僑圏の方々と正々堂々と渡り合えるような人物を育成しようというふうなことを考えています。ここに次のスライドが出ておりますけれども、ここに書いてありますのはですね、さらに、私どもの雲野塾の中身につきましてはですね、欧米の資料しか使っておりません。また 実際に運動塾は英語でやっておりますので、英語の講師がこう話しておりますけど、各週はですね、日本の歴史をまだ教えてますので、各週の午後はですね、日本のプログラムをしております。で以前はこれ有料だったので、今はですね、実際に会場費も取っていただいておりませんで、毎回5000円ということで、朝9時から午後5時までやっておりますので、ぜひ皆さんですね、ご検討の上ご参加いただければと。英語のできない方もですね、各週の午後こういうふうな研修をしておりますので、ぜひご参加いただければというふうに思っておりますので、よろしくお願いします。でここにさらにですね、グループ討議とか実務の勘どころを教えると書いてありますけど、実際には私が10年ほどですね、欧米の新聞とか雑誌等をですね集めてきた、もともと英語のベースでございますので、そうしたものをですね50セッションのテーマに分けて資料作成をしております。そういうことで世界のオペレーション、もしくはカントリーリスクも含めてですね、しかも世界のトップの方々に対してもいろいろな分析とか洞察をしてですね議論をしております。そういったことも含めてですね、今後ともよろしくお願いしたいと思います。以上で私の挨拶を終えますが、今回のこのビデオの収録にあたってはですね、V キューブさんのスタジオをお借りしてですね、お時間を頂戴して、このビデオを作成させていただきました。よろしくお願いします。どうもありがとうございました。